Hey everybody, welcome back if you're returning, welcome if you're new here, and we are going to get our shit to ponder for today. And I did fall back on the rebel deck because I need some humor. Anything for humor. As a matter of fact, you can't see it, it's outside the shot, but so things have gotten a little bit hectic, and I was like, we have got to have some fun. So I ordered the inflatable T-Rex costumes just to be dumb, just to have something dumb to do. Look, comic relief. Because no matter what you're doing, it's more fun if you're doing it as a T-Rex. And at least it's more funny. Alright. You need a good fucking cry. Get the ugly cry on. Let that shit go. Your soul will thank you. And absolutely. Oh my gosh. You know, and we have been taught, at least I know my generation, I think we were a little more encouraging of our children expressing emotions, but it depends on your family, it depends on your heritage, your culture. There's so many things that play into that. But it's like, okay, yeah, it's great to be strong. It really is. And if you try to be strong all the time, you'll end up in a mental institute. Bam. How timely was that? Total accident. But when we bottle things up, we handicap ourselves. I mean, it, like, legitimately, that energy that sits in our body is so hard, it causes inflammation. Trying to stay strong, and I've mentioned it a couple times on the channel, I used to be a police officer, and obviously you can't ugly cry in the middle of a situation. You've been called there as the person to take control and have your shit together. If you break down and start sobbing, that's not encouraging, you know. Don't think there weren't many nights that I went home and ugly cried after the fact. I mean, you deal with people in their most raw moments, unexpected deaths of their loved ones, vehicle accidents, where it's just, you know, there is so much pain in this world. And when you deal with it all day, every day, it's overwhelming. And you have to get that out. And that's an extreme example. Most people, you know, I mean, if you're in the medical profession or, hell, even teaching. We used to laugh because my mom was a teacher. She taught first grade. And she had me come in and do a presentation for her class. And I was like, I am more intimidated by 37-year-olds staring at me with expectation than I am to go into an armed gunman call. You know, personal comfort. But when you deal with people, there's a lot of ugly out there. There's a lot of pain. There are so many unexpected events that we're not prepared for. So we may have to be strong in the moment, but then you don't. Handle the moment. Handle the moment. Keep your shit together long enough to get through it, and then take a few. For real. Go in the shower. Cry your eyes out. Whatever it takes to get that out of you. We don't want to carry that with us because it festers. It's like having a splinter. And the longer you have it there, the more things get growing around it. It gets inflamed. It gets in your bloodstream. And now you're septic. Emotionally septic. Because of all the garbage that you held in. We can be strong in the moment and deal with something. And that's great. And maybe you break down halfway through and then pick yourself up and finish handling the moment. We have emotions, and it's nothing to hide, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. And that's why we're not just one person on a planet by ourselves. Like right now, we've got a lot going on, and the first thing we did was sit down and do a little sibling meeting of delegation. You know, like, okay, you handle that, I've got this, you've got that, right? Right? Okay, good. Everybody takes off, handles theirs, come back together. All right, what'd you find out? What'd you get done? Okay, what's our next step? Strategy. Strategy. But it's team strategy, not I've got all this on my plate. All of this needs done. Who's available? All right. Let's list it out. Hand it out. Is it a lot for everybody? Yes. Is it less than what it would be for one person? Yes. Are we less likely to end up the middle word? Maybe. We're waiting. So far, so good. We've had the sign in our house for 4 years, so that was just something that we had sitting around that is not yet packed. But it's that idea of we do value strength in our society. We value the idea that, oh, you've got your shit together, you can keep it together, look at her, she could deal with everything, he's got everything under control. No, they don't. No, they don't. It looks like it on the outside. But the more people that you have available to you to help you through those times, the better. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's how we overburden ourselves out of pride. No, not wanting people to see our weaknesses, not wanting to look vulnerable. And when we open up to vulnerability, we don't end up in the middle word because we're not trying to handle everything ourselves. And go cry. Whatever it takes. I know for me, and if you're someone who was taught to repress your emotions, which is very common. I mean, you get it from your parents, you get it at school. It's not intentional, but, you know, if you've ever dealt with a whining toddler, then stop! I've had enough! Which I was talking about yesterday. I'm working on a book on positive parenting, and that's not positive parenting. That is not the appropriate way to handle that, just for the record. But it's not meant to teach us to repress our emotions. Very few of us were actually raised knowing how to positively deal with our emotions, so we only know what we know until we know more, until we learn better ways to deal with it. Well, I got so good at repressing my emotions that I found the only way that I could cry was to exhaust myself physically. And so I got a heavy bag. I had a heavy bag. I used to run like 5 miles a day. And it was anger. Anger was fueling all of that. It wasn't that I was a fitness freak. I was just mad. I was really, really mad. About life in general. That whole, what the hell happened? I was angry. And I would run like Forrest Gump. Run until, well, I think I'll go home now. And it's whatever works for you. Some people it's the ugly cry. Some people it's doing something physical. But if we're going to keep our shit together, we've got to keep the energy moving. We can't let emotions stagnate within our body because they do cause infection, emotional infection, that will bring us down. It will take us out. So you need a good fucking cry, or a run, or beat the shit out of a heavy bag, whatever works for you. Move that energy. Get rid of it. Let it go. Your soul will thank you. And you'll feel lighter. It's amazing. I don't know how much emotional bullshit weighs, but I know at the end of a run, I completely felt like I had taken a backpack off while I was running. And it's mental. You know, it's just feeling that heaviness of the emotion, the heaviness of that burden. Even though it's not a tangible thing, it's like taking off a weight. And you release all the endorphins in your brain, so your brain's up, you're like, oh yeah! And your body's like, oh my god, I feel so much lighter. You know, and it's just so amazing that just the simple act of moving our bodies and getting that energy out can completely change our perspective. So cry it out. Run it out. Whatever it takes. Get all that ugliness out of there. Your soul will thank you. Wishing you Miley. Wishing you a fabulous day, and I will talk to you soon.